Hello mga idol! What's up guys? Welcome sa aking vlog.
Merry Christmas!
At kasama pala natin si Jacob TV. Say hi!
Hello!
Hello! Okay,
Ay, naputok yung bola.
Oh. Naputok na yung bola. Bola niya. Pinutok na gringo. Okay, meron naman tayong bagong discoveryhin ng mga video ngayon.
Ng Pilipinas.
Top 10 haunted places sa Pilipinas. Yun. Haunted places ng Pilipinas mga idol. So, puntahan natin yan, panoorin natin. Tingnan natin, okay, let's go.
Pupunta pa tayo doon.
Oo, pumunta na tayo doon. Hindi ko nakikita. Hindi ko nakikita
Pilipinas
sa camera.
tayo. Kaysa nasa Pilipinas tayo, paano tayo magkikita yung multo? Wala naman dito yung multo. Ano ba yan? Walang kwenta itong Pilipinas na to. Walang multo.
Okay, titingnan natin. Top 10 videos. Okay, umpisa natin mga idol. Let's go!
Let's go!
Up, yeah. Okay, naglalag yung ating recording.
Naglalag. Grabe.
Naglalag.
Naglalag. Guys, naglalag. Ano ba yan?
Ayun.
Mukha ko. Wala. Install. Akala ko andito yung aso.
Naglalag ang ating screen. Okay.
Baka may bumukas.
We're back mga idol. Okay, ito ang top 10 na mga lugar sa Pilipinas na nakakatakot.
Alam
Na dapat hindi nyo puntahan. Top 1. Okay, tingnan natin.
Here's a good question for all of you in the comments. Would you spend a night in a haunted mansion if that meant you could keep it? I think that would be a hard no for me because what am I going to do with a haunted mansion after I own it? I don't want to stay in it, and I definitely don't think anyone is going to buy it. Well, La Perle House is one of the most famous haunted mansions in the world, and it got its ghostly reputation for a good reason. During the Pacific War, the Japanese soldiers came through and needed a place to house some of their troops. They started to take any large building and use it as a garrison, and the La Perle House was one of the most infamous because when another country's troops come through and then you house them, they would be really grateful for you doing such a thing, and they would treat the residents with respect. No, that doesn't happen at all. The La Perle House was a site of a ton of horrible tortures. It said that the wailing of someone being tortured to death can still be heard from the ghosts that walk the halls. And there has also been several executions that took place at this mansion. So if you want to see the head of a ghost rolling down some stairs, this would be the best place to find it. Coming in number 9, we have Clark Air Base Hospital, Pampanga. Let's jump from one war story right into another. This air base hospital was mostly used by American soldiers during the Second World War. As you can imagine, it wasn't a very jolly place to go visit back then. Most of the people who were taken to this hospital were either injured in combat or suffering from some terrible sickness that occurred while they were in the Filipino jungles. That's the problem with waging war on unfamiliar grounds. You can get attacked by things you never expected. There's a lot of troops who died in agony in this hospital, and as you can imagine, a death in suffering.
Dapat i-K mo.
Ay, kay ba pag ipopost? Ano ba naman yun? Tingnan mo naman, no? Napaka-haunted talaga yung ano.
Di wala naman dyan yung multo eh.
Hindi, tingnan mo, di ba? Tingnan nyo,
Sila naman.
Sila naman, kaya nga luma na, kaya nga haunted eh. Number 9.
Pinagawa na yan ay SM Mega Mall. Yay!
SM Mega Mall daw. Boosted.
Suffering brings with it a lot of ghosts. Shadow figures have been seen walking through the halls, and it's very normal to hear the sounds of someone weeping when no one else is around. Coming in number 8, we have Malinta Tunnel, Corregidor. I'm giving you back-to-back hospitals on this one. Why? Because they're a hot spot for...
Saan yung Malinta Tunnel?
I-search mo sa Google Map.
Ghosts, you silly goose. And just so we're clear, this was a tunnel that was turned into a hospital. Well, not so much a hospital, but a sick bay for injured American troops. And
panahon pa ng kopong-kopong yan, no?
Walang dyan multo ah.
Wala, meron yun. Akala mo nang wala, pero meron. Meron. Akala mo nang wala, pero meron.
Loko mo?
Ano ba, nakakatakot? Para mga white ladies yun nandyan. Pero mga nurse yan.
As you can imagine, there has been a lot of people who have died there. The area is now famous for ghostly figures walking around at night. They probably don't even know that they're dead, so it's safe to say that this tunnel isn't somewhere you want to get stuck after the sun goes down. Coming in at number 7, we have Manila City Hall. You know your country has some good spooky stuff when the city hall is infested with ghosts. That's cool as hell. Well, apparently this place is packed with ghosts and they show up like clockwork. As soon as the sun starts going down, spooky stuff will start to pop up all over the building. You get all the standard ghost stuff going on here. People say there's footsteps coming from floors that have
Mukhang haunted yung mga ganyang ano.
Sumuko na kayo dyan.
Haunted din pala yung City Hall ng Maynila. Grabe, tingnan nyo naman. My goodness.
My goodness.
Yung ano pa lang nila, oh. Chandelier. Talagang
Sumuko ka na.
ang horror, mga idol.
no people on them. You can hear whispering coming out of thin air. There's even reports of doors bursting open randomly. I mean, if you're going to be a ghost, you could at least be polite and not slam any of the doors. Thank you very much. Coming in at number 6, we have Mount Maja. This island is haunted by a ton of stuff that is outside the world of ghosts, but is still very supernatural. Apparently this place has everything.
Wow, ganda ng view. Diba? Gusto mo yung view?
Ayoko yan. Kaya sumuko na to.
Pero
Eh, may
kalahin mo
multo
yun.
dyan.
May multo daw dyan. Haunted daw yun. Diba? Kung titingnan nyo, napakagandang lugar naman yun. Very relaxing. Huwag nga, bad yung ganyan. Huwag ka maingay.
Thing mystical going on over there. There have been reports of dwarves and elves on the island that are apparently really nice. If you come to the island with good intentions, then they will bless you.
Oh, diba? Ang ganda oh. Mad-anhas Island.
May baril ako.
You with good luck. But if you come over there with some bad vibes, they will send you a ton of bad mojo that will ruin your whole life. Now there is something over there that is pretty creepy and would keep me away from this island even though they're supposed to be good luck giving dwarves. Apparently this place is also home to some
Tama ba yung vampira oh? Wow. Barilin mo.
Hey yo, shut up.
Barilin mo. Barilin mo nga.
vampires that roam the island looking for new victims to suck the life out of. Yeah, that doesn't sound like a hot vacation spot for me. Coming in number 5, we have Baja Nepula San Ildefonso Bulacan. This is another place that the Japanese used as a garrison while they were waging war. And I don't know if you know this about the Japanese, but even though they seem cute and cuddly now,
Oh, bahay na po lang. May tao pa oh. May bata pa, tsaka may matanda. Horror talaga. Parang napapanood natin sa mga sine, mga idol.
Parang yan, family lang ah.
Parang?
Family lang.
Parang family lang? Family nga yan.
Pero may multo dito.
Pula na pala. Tingnan mo, parang may dito. Nakita mo yan? Parang may bata.
Bata yan. Gusto niya mahulog sa sa baba.
Parang may tao sa taas ito. Parang may tao sa taas.
Daddy, parang gusto niya bumamatay eh. Ano nga?
Tumalon niya bigla dito, pok! Pumunta dito, tapos nakita ng dalawang to.
At saka, akala niya multo.
Diba? Ito oh. Kita niyo yan? Pansin niyo yan? Scary. Okay.
now they weren't always like that. The Japanese used to be brutal. They would try to completely eradicate other cultures, and they saw themselves as the superior Asian race. All others were disposable, and the way they treated the Filipino people was horrible. At Baja Nepula, many people were beaten, tortured, and even the place has such a horrible history that the building has been abandoned ever since, and no one will go close to it. It's said that it has a horrible curse on it.
Abandan na. Tingnan natin.
They would try to completely eradicate other cultures, and they saw themselves as the superior Asian race. All others were disposable, and the way they treated the Filipino people was horrible. At Baja Nepula, many people were beaten, tortured, and even the place has such a horrible history that
hindi. Parang design lang pala. Design lang pala to. Pero titingnan mo parang tao nung diba? Picture. Yan na siya ngayon, no? Grabe. Abandon na talaga. Abandon mansion.
Daddy, i-Google map mo.
the building has been abandoned ever since, and no one will go close to it. It's said that it has a horrible curse on it. Coming in at number 4, we have Herrera Mansion, Quezon. Now we're moving to a place that has a couple of famous ghosts. It's one thing to have a haunted attraction that has some voices and screams coming out of it, or has stories of people feeling cold spots, but actually seeing the same ghost over and over, that's something you can sell tickets to. Apparently there is a ghost of a Japanese soldier that will wander the property. He sometimes yells out or vanishes and then reappears in an instant. I mean, that's kind of spooky, but I've got a little added bonus that will make the whole thing a lot spookier. The ghost is headless. Yeah, that's exactly what you need to give this place
May matay.
Statue pa lang. Diba? Pang horror movie ang datingan.
Okay.
a little extra spooky vibe. Now, even though our headless soldier is the star of the show, there's another set of ghosts that have been seen quite often. There's a ghost couple that has been seen walking around hand in hand around the building. It's thought that they could be the original owners of the building. Coming in at number 3, we have Balete Drive. One of the most famous kinds of hauntings you can have, the Lady in White. There's a house on Balete Drive that is apparently home to a lady in white. She loves to watch people as they walk.
White lady, oh. Ah, may dala pang ano. Karatol na ng Balete Drive.
Parang pag hindi siya tumatake, ibig sabihin, masayaw lang yung white lady.
Okay.
By and apparently doesn't like men very much. This could be because it's suspected that she was killed by Japanese soldiers. If you're a man driving by the Lady in White's home, she might use her supernatural powers to teleport into your back seat, and when you look into your rear view mirror, you will see her staring back at you with her body drenched in blood. Hopefully she doesn't leave a blood stain on the new leather. Coming in number 2, we have Diplomat Hotel by Guyo. It's safe to say that the events that took place at the Diplomat Hotel were not very diplomatic. I would describe them as horrific and unnecessary, but that's just me. This hotel was a hotspot for executions. This is a place where many nuns and priests were rounded up in an attempt.
Sira na kasi nga, matagal na yan. Tingnan mo naman, oh. Napakaluma na. Diplomat Hotel in Baguio. Ata mo, puro. Alam mo, simbahan eh. Pero hotel pala yan.
Attempt to destroy Catholicism in the Philippines. These nuns and priests were executed in front of everyone, and their heads were then kicked down the steps. Major disrespect on so many levels. Well, when you cut off the heads of that many people, then you're going to anger some ghosts. There's a ton of spirits that call this place home, and many of them are headless. There's so many headless ghosts at this place, they don't even have one superstar. They all work together as one major attraction. Coming in at the number 1 spot, we have Ilolio. Let's step away from ghosts for a little while and check out something else supernatural that is haunting the island of Ilolio. Turns out there is something way scarier than a vampire in the Philippines. If you thought that the headless ghosts were bad, then this thing is going to make you wish you were surrounded by them. This area in the Philippines is apparently home to the Tik-Tik. It patrols the land and should be something that you try to avoid at all costs. The Tik-Tik is described as a large bird or bat and will stalk.
Yan yung tinatawag na Tik-Tik. Yan ang tinatawag na Tik-Tik. Diba? Mahaba. Mahaba ang dila, tapos yung ano niya, pakpak niya ganyan, tapos mahaba ng mga galamay. Yan ang tinatawag na Tik-Tik. Tik-Tik sa Pilipino. Sa Bisaya. TikTok.
People as they walk in the dark and sneak up on them and then use its long tongue to start drinking their blood. But that's where its terrifying traits just start. Apparently this creature likes the taste of unborn children. It will find a woman who's pregnant and wait for her to go to sleep. Then it will use its long tongue to pierce the woman's stomach, but do it in such a way where she doesn't wake up. And while she is asleep, the Tik-Tik will eat her baby. That sounds horrific. Thankfully, a simple amulet that has been blessed with some holy water will keep this creature at bay. Alright everyone, that has been the list, and now I'm going to answer some questions from my...
Oo, kita nyo. Mga idol, di ba? Nakakatakot.
Yung isa-isa.
Hindi natin ang kalain. Number 1 pala, Iloilo. Muntik na yan. Iloilo.
Sa isa? Sa isang
Siyempre mga urban legends. Tik-Tik. Aswang Chronicles. Ang tawag dyan. ML daw. Okay mga idol, nag-enjoy ba kayo sa ating scary ngayong gabi? Kung bago ka lang sa aking YouTube channel, please subscribe na at
Nakita mo yun?
i-click mo na rin ang notification bell para laging updated dito sa aking channel, mga idol. Okay.
Kita mo yung parang may silip.
Parang may silip. Wala naman eh.
Kaya pag bumukas yung pinto,
Natakot. Natakot mo na sarili mo. Okay, mga idol. Susunod ulit na vlog natin. Okay, bye-bye na. Bye na.
bye!
Bye. Jehud TV and Albert Gayan TV. Peace yo!